Andrew here, aka Mr. Rebirth, and it's been a long 3 days. I'm here with State Rep Jared Deck. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Andrew. Glad the convention's over with.
Yeah. How do you feel in general after this long weekend? Positive, negative, just in
Sure.
general. Yeah.
I feel hopeful for the future. Events like this, they're always tough to put together. Really grateful to the staff and to the outgoing administration who,
Yeah.
really worked hard to put this together. And I felt like it was a functional event, and we got all of our business done. And also glad it's over.
Yeah. Again, it started kind of slow today, but they really got it moving along. And obviously, the big talk is going to be the chair election. The fact that Alicia has been replaced by John. Just give me your general feelings about that. Whether you want to talk about both candidates individually or just the election as a whole.
Sure. I feel like Chairwoman Andrews. She got elected for the first time in 2019, and really made a lot of good strides for the party in throughout her tenure. And apparently the electorate was just ready for, I think, a new start, a fresh start.
Yeah.
Representative John Waldron, I think, offers a very positive vision, really trying to communicate and connect and make bridges across some of our natural party divides. Specifically, making sure that our House and Senate Democrats really have a great relationship with our state party and also with our advocacy organizations out there. There's a lot of allies, and we need to get people in the same room working together and not working against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking about that, let's talk about kind of the early on stage where it kind of did delay today, where we had the contention around the idea of doing any sort of electronic voting. You want to kind of recap for people who weren't there what that was about, and obviously it was turned down today, but what your thoughts are on that strategy moving forward.
I don't think that's something that we shouldn't do, that we shouldn't look to. I mean, technology is obviously a part of our lives and part of our future. I think that this particular electorate, these delegates at this convention, had a lot of questions that they just weren't satisfied with the answers. So, when you make a technology change on folks who aren't used to the technology necessarily, or not everyone is, it's a difficult task. And I think things went smoothly even without electronic voting today.
Yeah, absolutely. So in general, let's talk about kind of the other people who were elected. We saw vice chair, we saw secretary, treasurer. Tell me a little bit about just your highlights and what you think kind of what we should be looking forward to as a whole through those elections.
Sure. John Waldron has just he's an excellent background as an educator and a real fundraiser and an organizer on the ground. I mean, I've nobody helps out on more campaigns than John. He's a door knocker. He puts in the sweat equity. Erin Brewer is the new vice chair. She's a communications expert. She also has a fantastic background in nonprofit organizing. So really adding, governance guardrails to our organizations to make that way. And then Alberto Alonso Sandoval, who's a rising young professional in South Oklahoma City. And Alberto is the twin brother of Representative Arturo Alonso Sandoval. And Alberto, he's an engineer. He's got a finance background, also a nonprofit background. And then round that out with our new state secretary, Katie Kane. Katie is a Chickasaw woman from Ardmore, Carter County. And Katie has done a lot of the infrastructure work for rural counties and some of our congressional districts. So I feel like there's a real well-rounded team to kind of build something that's foundational for us and make sure we've got our footing as a party so that we can continue to grow.
Yeah. So in general, tell me, what do you see as your biggest hopes looking forward for the party, and kind of not just coming off this election, but after an event like this, whether it was specific policies discussed or any changes to, the bylaws, things like that?
With this convention, I think we saw some of the greatest excitement that we've seen in a while. We definitely saw some of the greatest numbers.
Yeah.
So the amount of people who are turning out, who want to get involved, who are either looking to donate, or if they can't donate, they want to find a way to help. And for me, it's all about organizing on the ground, and we have to meet the needs of our neighbors, and we also have to make sure that we're reaching out to them. Because if we don't, part of what we lost in our national politics is we've lost a sense of humanity.
Yeah.
And we've got to value each other as humans before we can persuade people to vote for us. But we show that through our actions. And I think coming out of this convention, I think one thing that I hope to see is really putting our actions our action foot forward,
Yeah.
and our voice foot right there along with it. But if we're not backing up what we say with tangible work on the ground, organizing mutual aid, and really standing firm for working class people, then I don't know what else we could be doing. To
Yeah.
me, I'm excited about the future. I'm hopeful that we're going to see a lot of new folks coming into the party, doing the work, and hopefully we make inches of progress at a time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, folks, this is State Representative Jared Deck. Excited to be coming out of the Oklahoma State Democratic Party convention this weekend. I thought we had a lot of fantastic new energy. We had new faces from new communities, and we're so excited to do the organizing on the ground to provide tangible help for our neighbors in need. We can't just talk the talk. We've got to actually put actions behind it. And I'm excited. I hope that you will just continue to hold people accountable, people in positions of power, hold them accountable, make sure that we are supporting what it is that you and your neighbors need on a day-to-day basis. Just excited to be joining y'all and excited to be a part of a greater movement, progressive organizing on the ground, making sure that we're doing tangible things to help our neighbors in need. We should always remember, dream big, act bigger.